Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth and final week of our Life Group resources around the topic, the things we do when we are not afraid. This whole series we've been looking at what life looks like on the other side of fear, to live in faith and to live in love and to live with power and a sound mind and all the good things that God has in store for us. But to do that, we've got to tackle this, for many of us, giant of fear, in whatever way it reveals itself in our lives. It's a little bit of a giant that we've got to take on and realize that it's not what God has for us. And I hope it's been as good a series for you guys as it has been for myself. Tonight's a little bit different. At Life Group, we're going to spend a little bit of time doing stuff on our own, a little bit of writing and reading scriptures. We're going to spend a bit of time then chatting in smaller groups of 2 or 3 about what we've written, and then we're going to end off tonight with an extended time of praying for each other, because it's so clear in the Bible that we need to lay hands and stir gifts of faith wherever there's a problem of fear. And so often with things in our Christianity, we can, and we must, even with fear, renew our minds and slowly walk out of it. But I really believe that this is an area that God gives big gifts of faith and big gifts of grace and big gifts of forgiveness and all that stuff to actually eject people out of fear and to kill fear in our lives in an instant, whereas counseling and that could take weeks and months to get rid of it. So we're going to actually rely on a very powerful thing of prayer to wrap up this series. So here's what you're going to do first on your own. Some of you may have done this on your phones or on a piece of paper. You've done this exercise as truth versus lies before, where you write down a whole lot of thoughts in your life. But we're going to do fear versus faith instead tonight. And so what we're going to do is give you 10, 15 minutes and maybe a bit of background worship, or maybe just a bit of quiet. Maybe you want to find a space that's a little bit private. And you're going to write down a whole lot of thoughts and feelings you have to do with fear. And then for every one that you do of those on the left-hand side of the paper on column 1, on the other side, I want you to write the truth, the faith about how God actually sees us, what He promises us, how we think He wants to get us out of fear and into faith. And then we're actually going to take those pieces of paper and break up into groups for another sort of 10, 15 minutes, and you can decide whether it's pairs or 3 of you. I wouldn't recommend more than that. And talk to each other about some of the stuff that you've written. Get a little bit vulnerable, get a little bit honest about the fears and the faith in our lives. And once that's done, we're going to share as a group briefly the highlights reel, and then actually spend time praying for one another that faith and that love and that power would replace fear in our lives. And we're going to be trusting God for a really powerful time. So your leaders have been prepped for this. They've got a bunch of scriptures on hand to do with the opposite of fear. So you can grab a copy of that from them if you want. Otherwise, have a good night and enjoy.